Hello and welcome to Volume 3 of our radio show with me, James Woodcock, owner of Yamaha Personal Keyboard Owner. What you just heard was from the new flagship keyboard from Yamaha, the Tyros 2. You can find out more information about the Tyros 2 by visiting our website. By now you should be enjoying the new features and design of the site, which were finally unveiled on October the 1st. I hope you find all the changes and improvement compared to what we had before, and feel free to leave us a message on our voicemail message service by calling our UK phone number on 0207 193 3092. Your recording may even feature on our next radio show. New features released include our very powerful internal search engine, which has been added to give visitors of the site a quick and efficient way of finding information specific to personal requirements. We also have announced our new partnership with the Yamaha Club Magazine, which is also based in the United Kingdom. To explain more, we have a special guest with us to answer a few questions regarding this and the magazine itself. This year the Yamaha Club Magazine celebrates its 10th anniversary, and with this lasting success has attained a very impressive readership which is subscription based. Please welcome to the show the creator and editor of the magazine, Glyn Madden.
Hello James, nice to be invited.
First of all, Glyn, how did the Yamaha Club Magazine come into existence?
I guess, truth to tell, I just needed more of a home life. For the 15 years previous to the magazine starting, I toured for Yamaha as a demonstrator, putting somewhere in the region of 45 to 50,000 miles on the clock each year. And you can really only do that for so long. I think that the magazine came about because I was not wanting to move into a different business. And the magazine gave me an outlet to use the knowledge that I'd accumulated with Yamaha. After all, what I've been doing all that time is teaching people how to use the buttons and the switches on the various organs, of course then, and keyboards. And the magazine just allowed me to continue with that. I think had we started now, we may well have been internet-based like yourself. But having produced the magazine for 10 years and seen the response to it, I think a lot of people are, like me, like to have the actual hard copy to keep and to look back on. Now, of course, we have internet as well, so I think we offer the best of both worlds. The big change, of course, came in 2000 when I got quite seriously ill, and then I decided that it was time to stop touring altogether. I had up until that point been doing still around about 200 shows a year for Yamaha, but we decided then to make or break and turn the magazine from a part-time venture into a full-time thing, with my wife Kath taking over the administration, leaving me free to do more things and build the club magazine and the website and software, etc.
Who has contributed to the magazine content in the past and today?
Gosh, James, that's a hard one. I couldn't think of all the names. I really couldn't. It amounts to just about anybody and everybody who's had anything to do with Yamaha UK for the last umpteen years. Obviously, I've been associated with Yamaha now for 25 years, and I've a lot of friends in the business there. To embarrass them, I've known quite a few of them since they were children, and they all contribute. They're a great gang, and they all contribute in many, many different ways to the magazine. We get articles from them, hints and tips sessions. We get performance tracks, both audio and MIDI for people to download. I think we're very fortunate, and we can say hand on heart that if you're reading Yamaha Club Magazine, you are getting it from the horse's mouth.
Although you are independent, you also enjoy involvement from Yamaha UK with the magazine. How do you consider the relationship?
Yeah, we've got a very special relationship with Yamaha, particularly in the UK, and I feel very fortunate about that. Of course, having been associated with them now 25 years, as I said, I've got a lot of friends there, and I couldn't produce the magazine in the way that I do without their help. So, yes, it works very well for us. In terms of independence, we're independent in as far as the magazine is paid for by subscription. So the members pay for the magazine. Yamaha don't pay for that. On the other hand, Yamaha do contribute to the magazine by way of advertising. We've undertaken not to take any individual dealer advertising, because, of course, you advertise for one dealer, you're going to upset another. And in return, Yamaha advertise their products themselves in the magazine, which gives us a bit of extra revenue. So, in terms of independence, yes, we're independent, but yes, we're very, very closely tied with Yamaha UK, and delighted to be so.
You now include with quite a few of the magazines a radio show CD, which has received great feedback from your members. Do you see many more radio show CDs in the future?
Yes, the CD's been brilliant, and it's been really well received. We run it as a sort of radio show style thing, mainly because that way we can talk over tracks, because some of the artists who let us have their tracks to use on the CD, obviously they'll be wanting to sell the CDs themselves at concerts, so they won't want people just pirating the whole thing. So we ran it in a radio show style format, and this is just another example of having a good relationship with Yamaha. A couple of years ago, they came along and said, look, we've got a bit more money in the promotion pot than we expected. Would you like to use it for Yamaha Club members? Well, of course I did. Yeah, great, absolutely. It can't be anything but a benefit, although we get one or two people who cop, oh, it's nothing but an advert for Yamaha. Well, yes, so it is, and so be it. But it's free to them, and it lets them hear the instrument as well as see it and read about it in the magazine. Altogether, I think it just makes an absolutely fabulous package, and it's good all round. Hopefully it'll continue, but I guess that depends on whether Yamaha have a little bit extra in the promotion pot next year and the year after. If they at some point decide that they can't fund it, then it will either have to stop or it will have to be funded by the club members. But at the moment, it seems to be doing a great job for us, certainly, and Yamaha seem to be benefiting from it, so that's good, and I think the future looks fairly bright.
You also offer a various assortment of products on the magazine. What do these include?
Well, we started a software collection more or less as soon as the magazine first began. I'd been involved in setting up what Yamaha called the Artist Series, which was created for EL organ products. And having done that and seen the response to software, then we realised that this was something that people needed and indeed wanted. And so we started to produce registration, specific software for specific instruments. So things now we have for Tyros for 3000, for 2000s, for Clavinova CVPs, etc. But we then bought a lot of the remaining direct software from Yamaha when they were closing that down, and we've been acting as a clearance house for that for some time. Karaoke's become popular, so we've logged into MIDI files and things like this. Most exciting, I think, for me in recent months has been setting up the audio side, because we've started to produce audio CDs by Yamaha artists now, and they've really taken off. In fact, we brought out our first Yamaha Club members CD a little while ago. One of the great things about the club is, of course, people send in their own recordings, and just once in a while you'll hit one that's just outstanding. Well, we got this guy Andrew Leach, who some of your listeners may recognise the name. He's not a professional musician, but he's an astonishingly good player, and he produced a CD of sort of swing-type music, light jazz swing music on Tyros, which is just excellent. So we've put that out as a club CD, and that seems to be going from strength to strength. We've a new CD coming out this month, charity CD, which we're doing in aid of the Drone Valley Rotary Club charities, and that's featuring, apart from yours truly, people like James Sargent, Richard Bauer, Chiho Tsunemoto, Max Takano, Simon Inkley, who's Martin Harris's right-hand man at Yamaha in the design of Tyros 2. Well, the list goes on. So all the players tend to take part, and so yes, I can say the collection of software and bits and pieces that we have is really quite excellent. We've also started a line in accessories, so we've got the shoulder bags and the carry cases and the stands and all the other things that keyboard players need when they play a Yamaha instrument.
A few months ago, I contacted Glyn, who I noticed also had an online resource in addition to their magazine, and made an offer of how we could work together. This is now noticeable on Yamaha Personal Keyboard Owner, as Yamaha Club members now interact with our own discussion forum, while also sharing articles from past magazines.
Well, I have to say, James, I was absolutely delighted to hear from you, because it's become increasingly apparent over the last couple of years that the internet is playing a much, much more important role in the lives of our members than it ever used to. And as a consequence, of course, I've been spending more and more of my time sorting out the website, administering the forum, etc., when really I ought to be concentrating on what I do best, which is the music side of the club. So meeting you's given me the opportunity to hive off some of the website activity to somebody who actually knows about it. But more importantly than that, I have to say, just for anybody who's listening in, I know I've already said this to you, so I'm not sort of flanneling unnecessarily, but it's a little bit of a grey area, websites. If you type in Yamaha keyboards and look at the various enthusiast sites around, there are quite a few that I really don't think I'd want to be associated with. And because I'm linked so strongly with Yamaha UK, you do have to be a bit careful. What I saw from your site, James, is that you seem to have the same approach that we have. It's pure enthusiast site. You don't, you're not there to knock the instrument for the sake of it. Oh, sure, if there's something wrong, let's say so. But it's an enthusiast site. We are Yamaha instrument owners and players, and we are that because we have either bought one or because we simply love the instrument and want to play it. Now, that's what I try to put across in the magazine, and that's what I see coming out from your website. So, yeah, here's to a rosy future. I'm absolutely delighted by the merge between us, and I hope it all goes very smoothly. See no reason why it shouldn't.
How do you see the online medium working for Yamaha Club and indeed Yamaha in the future?
I don't really know, James, if I'm honest. That's why I'm linking to you, because I'm hoping you're going to have all the spectacular ideas. I know from talking to you that you've already got so many ideas of what can be done through a website. Our forum already provides a fantastic place for enthusiasts to meet and exchange views and what have you. I can only see that improving, and I think with your input, the sky's the limit, really.
There is no doubt in my mind that Yamaha Club Magazine is a great resource for Yamaha keyboard and digital piano enthusiasts who prefer something they can actually hold in their hands and read. But how did your own personal interest start in Yamaha products?
Well, actually, I wanted to be a Hammond organ demonstrator from being a little lad. I'd seen a guy called Stan King do a Hammond demonstration, and it had sent the hair up on the back of my neck, and I decided that's what I wanted to do. But as a teenager, I worked in a music shop in Sheffield, and so I got to know the reps from Hammond and from Yamaha, amongst others. And one day, the Yamaha rep came in, who obviously knew that I could play, and asked if I would do a show because their demonstrator was ill. And he said if I would do the playing, he'd do the talking, and we'd get through the night. So I went off to Hull to do this demonstration. And fortunately for me, the dealer liked it and asked me to do another show for a different branch. and the second time I did the whole thing myself. Word got back to Yamaha that it had been successful, and things just went from there, really. I joined them in 1980, full-time as a player, and again, it's luck of the draw, isn't it? Because 1980, they brought out an organ called the D85, which was spectacularly ahead of its time, and Yamaha went into number one position in sales in the world. They knocked Hammond off top spot. And that was incredible. And to be part of that, and then of course the pioneering years came when the keyboards started to be introduced, the clavinovas came along, the organ technology was moving along at a tremendous rate. And I was involved in all of it, which was, it was just so much fun.
You have also written your own compositions using various Yamaha instruments. For you, what is the most rewarding aspect of this?
Oh, I've never written anything worth talking about, James, to be honest. What I have written has tended to be in response to copyright issues. As you know, if you want to record anything or publish anything, you have to pay oodles and oodles of money to the copyright people. And sometimes with a magazine like ours, there just isn't the funding to do that. So it's a case of needs must. And I've written a few little pieces for what we call the Easy Beats section, which is, well, as the name says, it does what it says on the tin. It's easy to play music. I've written a few slightly more advanced pieces, which have been quite nice, actually, some of them. But the trouble is that I guess I'm like most people. Having written something and played it back, it always sounds like something I've heard before, just with the notes rearranged, so I certainly don't feel qualified to give any advice to somebody who's setting out as a composer. I certainly envy people who have, or seem to have a ready stock of tunes in their mind that are different and whistleable or singable. I think that's a very great talent, but not one of mine, I'm afraid.
Which Yamaha instruments have you been involved with, and which were your favourites?
Well, most of my favourites, I suppose, have been organ-type instruments, certainly until recent years, because, of course, originally I was employed as an organist by Yamaha. Instruments like the D85 I mentioned earlier, which was, it was just spectacular at the time, absolutely spectacular. Then we had the FX, well, the FX1, I think that was around about £30,000 or something for this huge white monster. Again, ahead of its time. All the flagship models have been tremendous. We had the FX1, we had the HX, of course, the modular system. In about 1985, I think that came along. I think the instrument that I settled to most of all was probably the EL. And the EL90 really did become my instrument, and I was more at home on that, I think, than I ever was on any other Yamaha previously. But I have to say, I was converted to keyboard when Tyros came out, principally because I think for the first time it actually gave me the organ sounds that I would get from a top-of-the-range organ, as well as good quality instrumentals. Tyros 2, well, what can I tell you about that? That just is stunning, and I can't see that I shall be playing anything else except Tyros 2 for some time to come. The instrument sounds are beyond anything that we'd even have dreamed about when I began at Yamaha. And now, of course, the flexibility of the instrument, not just in any one area such as organ or as brass or as strings or whatever, but whatever style of music you want to play, whatever the musician is inside you, that musician can be brought out and portrayed through the Tyros 2. Stunning instruments, all of them.
Of all the new technologies introduced to personal keyboards and digital pianos, which do you feel added the most impressive step forward?
Well, again, it depends really which era you're looking at, but I guess if you're interested particularly in portable keyboards and clavinova pianos, then it's got to be Mega Voice. I can't see that there's been anything that's had more of an effect on recent keyboards than that. It's a shame in a way that the general public don't really see the value or don't understand the value of Mega Voice. I'm sure that they can hear it. I'm sure that it makes the difference when somebody listens to a Yamaha product and then to one of the competitors' products, because Mega Voicing has made such a difference. But it's up until now it's been a programmer's tool, so it's only apparent in the overall sound of the instrument because it's affected what happens in the style. Now, of course, with Tyros 2, this has been extended, and we have what they call super articulation voices. It's all buzzwords, this, but essentially it's multi-sampled sounds that can be used either by the programmer when producing the styles, as in Mega Voice, or in live performance where you can control it by your fingers. And that's been a real achievement, and that's what super articulation is. I think that's got to be it, and the combination now of the two in Tyros 2 is, well, it's an overused word, but it is. It's just simply awesome. The sound and the playability of that instrument are like nothing I've ever played before in my life. I can see that I shan't be playing anything other than Tyros 2 for the next few years. And yes, that would be my vote. Mega Voice, stroke, super articulation.
Myself and Glyn were invited to Expo in Milton Keynes, which is a dealer event held at the Yamaha UK headquarters, where we viewed a demonstration by Martin Harris on the new flagship keyboard, the Tyros 2. I personally had goosebumps after hearing the new super articulation voices and the new enhanced styles. Everything sounds so fresh. What were your initial reactions to this new product, Glyn?
I think goosebumps sums it up, James, to be honest. But talking about Tyros 2 is it's so difficult because the words don't do it justice, and it doesn't matter what words we use. It's never going to give the right picture. I know this piece of music won't be to everybody's taste, but I brought you a little recording along, and this is my first attempt on Tyros 2 at recording, and even I was surprised when I listened to it played back. The way that the strings, what I've done, I've recorded the string lines and then overdubbed the choir and pipe organ on the top. I've chosen this for you because you shouldn't have any problems with copyright on it, and it shows how the strings react when they're live played, which is absolutely incredible. Each string seems to have a different tone, and each note seems to have a different vibrato, just as you would get with a real instrument. And it's this that makes super articulation voices, not just the strings but all of them, so completely lifelike.
Wow, a personal presentation there of the Tyros 2 and played so very well, so thanks for that, Glyn. It is also worth mentioning that the track you have just heard will feature among others on a special 10th anniversary edition audio CD, available around the end of October from the Yamaha Club. All the artists included have supplied their performances for this album free of charge, and proceeds from the sale of the recording will be donated to various charitable causes supported by the Rotary Club. Thank you for joining us, Glyn, for this interview. It has been a pleasure.
Thanks, James. The pleasure's all mine, and I look forward to talking to you again in the not too distant. Take care now. Bye-bye.
So this is it for Volume 3 of the Yamaha Personal Keyboard Owner Radio Show. Remember, to check out on more Tyros 2 information, make sure you visit www.yamahapkowner.com.